Hello everyone out there on YouTube. Thought I'd take a moment. I'm subscribed to a lot of people on YouTube and watching updates of layouts all the time. Thought it was about time I share a little bit of my layout and what I'm working on. Currently I model Wisconsin Central from the mid to late 90s. It gives you a lot of opportunity for run-through power. Wisconsin Central had a lot of industries that they served, so it gives you a lot of modeling opportunities. They interchanged with multiple Class 1 railroads, CSX, Union Pacific, Southern Pacific, not to mention run-through power from Norfolk Southern, and many others. So for me, it's a great opportunity to, you see something you really like, and you just buy it because you can, because it makes sense and it fits in the era, and it fits in with staying with what Wisconsin Central is all about. So this is my layout. I'll give you a quick tour. As you can see, the work is the layout rather is very much a work in progress. I'm as much as I can. I like to work on it, but family and other commitments keeps me from working on it as much as I'd like. So in this area, it's just Magic Pan Breakeries. It's a standard Walther's kit. Nothing real fancy about it. Serviced by a couple tracks. Can receive boxcar loads, also tank car loads as well. Over here is a future site of a grain tower. As you can see, I've got a couple drying bins already made, and then working on kit bashing eventually, a larger storage silos and things of that nature. Again, all industries that Wisconsin Central serviced. Here's a longer train. Another section of the layout coming off of the area I just showed. It's just, this is going to be on scenic at first, and so it's still a major work in progress here, but just put up a small backdrop. And then initially this was just going to be a shelf, but decided that I was going to make it a little bit more. So working on that. This is my work area. Yeah, cluttered, messy, a disaster. But one of my favorite features of the layout is that I can have trains running, and they run along the back of my workbench here. It's only about a 6-inch shelf. As you can see, it runs along the back, and it was just enough for a little bit of scenery. And frankly, I'd love to just sit, work on the layout, and have a train run by every once in a while. It's like rail fanning all the time. So this is one of the features that I decided to hide in here. As you can see, here is a wall outlet. And just held on by a couple of baby protector baby covers that you put over outlets, glued onto this piece of backdrop here, and then pressed into place. And that holds it in place, and then if I need the outlet for anything, I can take that off. And then of course this is the disaster that I call a workbench. Here's an area that I just recently finished. This is somewhat of a makeshift industry. I'm kind of more of a box factory, cardboard box factory. Wisconsin Central obviously ran in Wisconsin and in the northern part of Wisconsin, predominantly, especially in the Appleton area and Fox Valley and so forth. A lot of paper industries, so cardboard is a large industry in the area. So this is just a kit bash from Pike Stuff warehouse kits, and then modified with some leftover parts from the Walther's bakery. And then I kit bashed and custom made these silos. There's just 1.5 PVC with some brass wire for railings and the guardrails and things of that nature. And then this is actually my first foray into static grass. This entire area was done with static grass. I'm really pleased with the results. It was an expensive tool to buy, but I really can't complain how well it turned out and how well it works. I tried some of the knockoff ones, but really the actual knock brand one works what I found the best. This is another work in progress. One of the largest customers for the Wisconsin Central was Quad Graphics. And so this industry is going to be somewhat of a kind of a nod to Quad Graphics. Quad Graphics, if you're not familiar with it, is a large printing company. They do magazines, catalogs, things of that nature. And Wisconsin Central actually serviced multiple sites of theirs throughout Wisconsin. Lomira was one of their largest ones, and it's actually their Lomira plant is still currently serviced by Canadian National. But so eventually this will be a completed industry. Obviously you have a little bit more work to do. This is a combination of the Walther's power plant kit that I picked up off of HO Interchange, the Yahoo group. A gentleman was selling it, so I repainted that. That'll become the mainstay of the printing press. And then these are from the new Walther's paper industry kits. Obviously doing some kit bashing, and not huge kit bashing, but cutting and modifying to fit. Another feature of hiding, and as you can see here, this is the circuit panel for the house. Now, I know I am probably technically violating a few codes here. However, hopefully I won't need to worry about that. But as you can see here, there's a cutout. Well, maybe you can't see, but this is Velcroed on. This piece of backdrop here is Velcroed onto the panel itself, and then if you can see here, there's a breakout, lift out, so these industries could come out, and that'll lift off, and then I can gain access to the circuit breakers if I need to, and it's wide enough that the entire panel could be taken off if I ever needed to have work done there. If I ever anything major ever needed to be done, I'd probably have to rip this section of the layout out, but well, it can be rebuilt. As you can see here, I've got some of my fascia done. The layout is constructed on, you can see it, it's just it's basically a typical shelf layout. I've got shelving brackets mounted, and those go on to 1x2s, and then 1x2s hold up styrofoam, 2-inch thick pink styrofoam. The only problem with that is that it makes it difficult to mount fascia with good, nice curves and everything, because I'm not nailing or drywall screwing into anything. So my fascias have a lot of sharp angles, but I'm okay with it. It's my layout. I'm going to do what I want. Toggle switches here are for the they're not power routing turnouts. These are actually Fast Tracks made off of Fast Tracks kits. Well, they're jigs, I should say, not kits. For the time being, eventually someday I'd love to go with tortoise switch machines and then an auto polarity, but for now, cost and all that good stuff, it's Caboose Industries ground throws for the time being, and then toggle switches to change the polarity. And then one of the things I did here, because the layout initially ended right here, if you can see the line, the trains were a little too close to the edge of the world, if you will. I didn't care for that at all. This gives the opportunity that if something were to tip over, at least there's a chance. It has a fighting chance of staying at least on this portion. So that was just a piece of styrofoam that I extended beyond, and then the fascia is below it. Then you can see there I've got the switches for those two, and then the plug-in for my Digitrax DCC. The next industry, just a smaller warehouse, old Pike stuff. I actually have had that since I was in high school. I'm currently in my mid-30s, so you can see that's been around for a while. It got a new roof, repainted, repurposed, but it's still alive and kicking. Another item that I've had since actually I was 4 or 5 is one of these Bachmann signal bridges. Not operating, really. I think it's there more just to represent a signal bridge that's no longer in use. But again, repainted, repurposed. It's still alive and kicking almost 30 some years later. This portion of the layout is actually, it was a 4x8 sheet. Started when I had an apartment with my wife and and I couldn't part with it. My young son loved it and didn't want to see me tear it down. So I ended up adding on from this point here to here, about 12 inches, and then also this portion here was from here to here was added on, and that's about, I think that was about 12 to 14 inches as well. So the initial layout is this portion here, and obviously it wraps around it. Eventually, I believe I'm going to put a scenic divider through the center of it to break it up, make it not appear so much like a 4x8 sheet stuffed in the middle of my layout. But for now, it is what it is. And this is a Walther's lumber company. I can't remember the official name of it. But again, something else that Wisconsin Central served quite a bit was the lumber industry. Actually, I think my son and I were switching, and he decided that they needed to get a load of scrap, so that would be why they have a scrap load there with no ability to load it or unload it. So that's how our car card system works. He decides where things get dropped off, and I'm happy to drop them there. And then this is just some other areas, work in progress, things of that nature. One of the features of the layout that I'm kind of space constrained with is yard, and this is actually the only yard on the layout. Is from the original 4x8. It holds probably maybe 8 cars, 10 cars at the most. So for now it acts as more of an interchange engine holding bay for when I've got something that I need to park somewhere. What I'd like to do is in this area create a temporary expansion and put a yard that goes off in that direction that I could. Okay, battery died on me there, but I think we're back in business now. I'm tethered to the cord, no longer wireless. So eventually I'd like to have a yard that goes off here, and I want to build it on 2 portable units, so that way it's out of the way. As you can see, their laundry is in the back there, so my wife has to get access to this area. Okay, there we go. Realized the furnace kicked in, and that was being awfully noisy. Gonna be really hard to hear. One of the last features of the layout, and then on the topic of the furnace, the trains have to make a flying leap here. As you can see, there's a slight gap, and the trains continue right there. Hard to see, it's a little dark in there. But no, actually there's a lift-out bridge that I have up on the shelf there. Temporary fix. I really would like to do something a little bit more solid than that, but it works for now. So the trains do continue down. I don't know if you can see it, but long straightaway all the way to the other end of the layout. Really hidden staging, but they do run behind in this area, behind the furnace, behind the hot water heater. As you can see, there's the back end of a train here. My plan, once we get rid of all of this stuff, is to expand the layout and actually put in another set of industries in this area here. Right now it's just a shelf for paints and all that good stuff, but that can find a new home. Freezer can be moved, and as you can see, I cleared this area out. So the trains pop back out over here and complete their journey around the layout. I had thought about putting a yard in this area, but it really couldn't hold trains for staging or for anything too long. And I'd really love someday to have a yard that can hold trains of 20 to 30 cars. It's probably a pipe dream and won't happen for a long time. But for now, the layout operates without any major yards, which can be a little bit of a headache, but I'm the only one that operates it aside from my younger son. He doesn't seem to mind either, so we're okay with it. Well, that's the tour, that's the layout, that's some of the things I'm working on. Thank you everybody for watching, putting up with me for however long this lasted. Please feel free to leave comments or questions. Hopefully they're all positive. I don't take negative criticism real well. No, just kidding. throw everything out there that you want. If you got any questions about stuff I'm working on or want pictures or updates or anything like that. Hopefully this is the first update, first 2 postings. Hopefully I can throw a few more up there. I'm not real good at recording as I'm working on stuff, but be happy to hopefully got a couple of tree tutorials that I was thinking of working on just to share what I've been doing and some other stuff. So hopefully you got some other videos coming. Thanks for watching and hope to have more in the future. Thanks a lot, guys.